Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Neville Goddard podcast. Today we're going to dive into keeping holy the Sabbath. And most people miss the holy part and they try to figure out and they argue about what the Sabbath is. And neither one of those is going to give to you. Keep holy the Sabbath. What could that possibly mean? When we wrap it up at the end, your brain's going to go, good shit. Meanwhile, if you're getting gold from the podcast, I've got a quick favor to ask. One, will you share it someplace? Two, will you share it someplace else? Every couple days. Because that would mean heaps to us. We notice people are starving for what's real. They're starving for what's good. They're starving for some meat. In a world full of gravy, we try to be the meat. If we're the meat for you, share us. I would greatly appreciate that. Have a lovely day and enjoy today's episode. Keep holy the Sabbath. It seems like most people don't notice, and that's why they feel frantic. They actually feel frantic because they doubt. You know, when you doubt something's happening because you don't notice something that's happening, that's just divine comedy. That's also called the hell of humanity because there is no way you can physically notice all that much. Your eyes are a few inches apart, right? Your eyes are maybe 4 inches apart. Your ears 6 or 7. You know, from tippity top to tippity bottom, I'm like 6 foot tall, just about 5'11" and a half of a half. But meanwhile, I can only sense so much. And for me to assert that nothing is happening because I don't notice anything happening is just pure malarkey. Spell that out, malarkey. It's a big word, isn't it? Grandpa used to use that one. But here's what's a lot of fun, gang. Keep holy the Sabbath. God, I remember reading that as a kid in the good book. Keep holy the Sabbath. It's like, wow, God's got something about Sunday, doesn't he? Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. And then they say, well, the Sabbath really isn't Sunday. Good Lord. Whenever you listen to the Rational Monkey, things just get really confusing. Is it Saturday? Is it Sunday? When does it start? Where does it end? Who does it apply to? Who doesn't? Why is it important? What would it do? Good Lord, the endless questions that Rational Monkey has. When you try to let Rational Monkey run the show, Rational Monkey just wants more and more answers, which means he creates more and more questions. Answers don't do anything. Experience changes everything. Your imaginal experience changes your physical experience. As we continue to explore activating ABDULLAH, meanwhile, keep holy the Sabbath. You know, you only got to be talking to a workaholic culture. Think about this. If you work 7 days a week, does that really get you further ahead? If you keep pushing, if you keep hustling, if you don't take a break and rest in the state of your wish fulfilled, what's that mean? See, I notice Neville Goddard says, do nothing. And then I notice most people don't read the rest of it, where he says, you can do nothing to aid in the realization of your desire. See, I imagine putting out a podcast that has impact. First, I imagine impact. You get, I'm an impact junkie. I absolutely love making a difference in the world, sharing what has totally transformed my life, healed me of half a dozen diagnosed and undiagnosed conditions. Well, about a half a dozen are diagnosed, another half a dozen weren't. Serious shit. You know, like extreme hypertension, scoliosis. They said I'd be a cripple in my 20s. Their word, not mine, before somebody gets their panties in a twist because I used the C word. That's the word the doctor used. I feel free on using it today. Meanwhile, we get offended by words, like words have power. Rightio. See, the power is in the stillness that you are. The silence that you are hears the sound of my voice. The stillness that you are notices all movement. Comes from the stillness that you are. You getting some attitude? Get that attitude of ABDULLAH package. But let's keep diving, guys. Keep holy the Sabbath. You think about it. You got a culture that wants to get ahead, a culture with a chip on its shoulder. And I know someone's going to get offended that I said that. But why else would you have to tell an entire culture, Keep holy the Sabbath. Take a day off. Rest. Remember the one cause. All right. Have a lovely day. You see, here's the fun thing, guys. When you nail something, something goes out of you. Neville talks about the sinew. Right? It's just like having sex. When you nail it, yeah. That's a sex noise, I guess. That's going to offend somebody. It's almost like whenever you have that spontaneous yes or yum, whatever, right? That spontaneous release. This is why I imagine that Victoria's yum. Meanwhile, guys, keep holy the Sabbath. I was terrified about that as a little kid. Not only could we not agree on what the Sabbath was, but does it apply to Christians? Does it only apply to Jews? Does it apply to... Good Lord, when did it change? Why did it change? Endless monkey questions. See, one of the things that's going to keep you from having the attitude of Abdullah is what we call monkey business. In this one little model that I've made up that's really cool that makes a difference, we identify some people... See, you have got two monkeys. One's rational, one's emotional. The rational one wants you to believe that thoughts create things. Thoughts do not create things. Every different state has different thoughts. The state of loving teacher has very different thoughts than the state of loving puppy dad. The thoughts don't create the state. The thoughts come from the state. The state of somebody who's created wealth in their life has very different thoughts than the little boy growing up on welfare. States create thoughts, as well as things. Then there's other people, they want you to stay emotionally high all the time. Rightio. Abdullah slammed the door. Neville ordered clams. It's okay to be upset. Be angry, but sin not. It's okay to grieve when somebody close to you dies. Just don't stay there. You see, here's the cool thing, gang. Keep holy the Sabbath. The stillness that you are, the silence that you are, hears the sound of my voice. And there comes a time in every imaginal act when it's not that, well, I just drop it and I move on. I detach from my desire. You never detach from your desire. That's New Age bullshit. You detach from who you've been by attaching to who you choose to be. It's these tiny little things. I can tell you this much. Let's talk about the Sabbath and money just for a second. The other day I asked Victoria about the house insurance. Did I pay it or not? See, I didn't have any... There was no commotion in there about do we have enough money. The question is, did I pay it? There was a little quote-unquote disturbance in the force. I couldn't remember if I paid it or not. I can remember when paying a bill that was almost $2,000 would have been a big deal. It's not now. And you can use that as an imaginal act. Because whenever you get... Hey, here's a bill that's almost $2,000. All right, I'll take it inside and pay it. I'll do it so haphazardly that I don't even remember doing it. It's not a big deal. You get how much silence there is compared to where's the money going to come from. They raised it $10. I listen to people at the pool get all worked up about things. The price of broccoli has gone up 39%. I said, how much is it now? It was $3 before. It's gone up 39%. It's $4. It's $1. Right? You waste $1 a day on bullshit. Right? Just buy the broccoli. And here's the funny thing. Not only did the price of broccoli go up 39%, they made the pack bigger. So they made it 25% bigger. And I try to do the math in my head, but that whole thing of the math in my head drives me nuts. I just go back to the quote-unquote unargument. Double your income and work half the time. What if you did that? Because these are the opportunities to notice, are you really leading or are you sheep? Because if the news upsets you, if the fact that, broccoli's up 39%, right? Green beans were like $6 the other day. They used to be $4. That doesn't disturb me. That just makes me go, rightio. It's time to have more impact. Here's the cool thing. You're either going to make excuses today or up your level of excellence. That's entirely up to you. One of the things about excuses is they don't let you enjoy the Sabbath. They don't let you keep it holy. And let's really nail this, because keeping the Sabbath holy is what it's all about. Keep holy the Sabbath. When you keep the Sabbath holy, you give thanks. When you keep the Sabbath holy, you remember the one cause. When you keep the Sabbath holy, you stop chasing and forcing and pushing. You rest, you celebrate, you enjoy. This is an essential step to manifesting what you want. It naturally occurs when you nail things. It doesn't happen whenever you're in a state of hoping or chasing or doubting. If you got gold today, that's suggestion, the Attitude of Abdullah. We put out a cool new little pack, the Attitude of Abdullah 2023. It's all new stuff, because it's all new stuff. That's what I'm into. All right. Keep holy the Sabbath. Notice how simple it could be? God. I'm going to stop there. Have a lovely day. Visit us at NevilleGoddardStore.com. See ya.